On the hottest day of summer, a long line of ants marched across a dusty path, each one carrying a grain of wheat, twice its size. Back and forth they went, from the golden field to their underground home, never stopping, never resting. A grasshopper sat on a tall blade of grass nearby, playing a tune on his back legs. He watched the ants with a grin. "Why do you work so hard?" called the grasshopper. "The sun is shining, the fields are full of flowers. Come and sing with me." An old ant at the front of the line paused and looked up. "We are storing food for the winter," she said. "When the snow comes, there will be nothing to eat. You should do the same." The grasshopper laughed. "Winter? That's months away. There's plenty of time to worry about that later." And he went back to his song. The days grew shorter. The leaves began to turn from green to gold and red. Still the ants worked, carrying seeds and grain deep underground. They packed their tunnels with food and lined their walls with dry grass to keep out the cold. The grasshopper noticed the changing leaves but shrugged. "There's still time," he told himself. He hopped from field to field, singing his songs to anyone who would listen. But the flowers were fading, and fewer creatures stopped to hear him play. One morning, a young ant called out to him from the path. "Grasshopper, the frost is coming. We can smell it in the air. Have you gathered any food at all?" "Not yet," said the grasshopper. "But I will. Soon." The young ant shook her head and hurried on. Then winter came. It came all at once, the way winter does. The fields turned white. The streams froze solid. The flowers were gone, and the grass where the grasshopper had played was buried under snow. The grasshopper wandered through the bitter cold, his legs stiff, his stomach empty. He searched under rocks and beneath frozen leaves, but there was nothing to eat. The wind cut through him, and he had no shelter from it. At last, shivering and desperate, he came to the entrance of the ants' home. He knocked weakly on the door. "Please," he said, "I have no food and nowhere to go. Could you spare even a small crumb?" The old ant from the summer opened the door. She looked at the trembling grasshopper for a long moment. "What did you do all summer while we worked?" she asked quietly. The grasshopper hung his head. "I sang and played," he whispered. "I thought there would be time." The old ant nodded slowly. Then she stepped aside and let him in. Inside, the grasshopper could hardly believe his eyes. The tunnels were warm and bright. A small fire glowed in the center of the main chamber, and all around it, the ants were laughing, dancing, telling stories. Young ants chased each other through the corridors while the older ones shared food and song. They had worked hard all summer so that now in the darkest and coldest season they were free to play. The old ant handed him a piece of grain. "Eat," she said, "and next summer, perhaps you will remember, there is a season for work and a season for play. But the work must come first." Moral: there is a time for work and a time for play. But those who play when they should be working will have neither.